All right, everybody, welcome to the WalaWay. I'm here with the great coach Javier Mendez. Coach Javier, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great, coach. And I know I want to keep this interview short and sweet, so I'm going to go straight to it. But you mentioned something on a phone call we had the other day that was very profound to me that I want to kind of pick your brain about. And we were basically talking about the different fighters that you train and the type of personas and personalities that can come into the gym. And you were referencing someone who was promising you essentially that they were going to be your next big thing, your next world champion. And you said in a way that you didn't really care about them just being a champion in the ring. Could you kind of elaborate on that?
Well, the reason why I say that is because what I like to do is enjoy my job, and if someone is just fixated on being solely just a world champion, but not being a good person in the process, then for me, it's not an enjoyable journey. I'm going to be doing something that I'm not going to enjoy. And on top of that, it teaches bad behavior patterns that could be hard to bring back once the person has become a star. It's almost kind of difficult to get them to be humble because you let them get away with so much from the get go. So I always believe in trying to teach the right morals first. So if a person's looking for me to be a good person first, and then see doing the best he can do, then I like that. But if it's the number one focus is I don't care about anything other than being a world champion, then I'm not as interested.
What? So tell me a little bit about maybe your own history. You're a former world champion. You've trained. If I'm correct, you've trained Ken Shamrock for a while. You're training Daniel Cormier, Khabib, Kane. You have a lot of current champions, upcoming champions, but being a former champion and this being a one-on-one sport, mixed martial arts, my assumption is that as men, a lot of ego does go into this because now we're competing, we want to be the best. But how do you transition from being amongst the best to saying now that I'm done, I'm retired, I want to train others, but I don't want to just train them to be champions. I want them to be champions on and off the court. So I asked that question because I find it strange in a good way, where it seems like most coaches are not really too concerned with off the court antics and off the mat antics. So why are you concerned with that? What happened maybe in your past, or what made you concerned with that?
Well, like I touched on it earlier, it's the comfort level. If they're always looking to be a good person in the process of pursuing a championship quality, fighting and, attaining a world title and becoming famous, it humbles you more than as a coach, and fans and people in general respect that person that much more because he's kept himself rooted properly rather than felt he was entitled. Sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes some fighters they gain a certain status that they feel entitled that they can run crazy and um, I don't think I've had that yet with any of my guys where, if they won a title where they feel like they're entitled. They hold themselves up high. They go and do what they can, and Habib in particular is using his celebrity status to try to help as many people as he can in the process of fighting. And I think today he got asked to be part of the Dagestan, the person that runs. I don't know what it was, but it was on one of the sites about how being joining somebody in Dagestan was
Mm.
their leader. Outside of Putin. It's right here. He offered position in the Dagestan government.
Wow.
The head. Yeah. So offered position as He's a position as assistant to the head of Dagestan. So Habib's using it for the right reasons, and a lot of that has to do how his father raised him, the morals and the respect, the humbleness, and it all combined, in the belief in his religion, and all those things, his country, religion, and family are the things that molded Habib and why he's in a position to actually help people.
how happy does it make you as a coach, and as Khabib has described you, like a brother, like a father, like an uncle? How happy does it make you to not only get guys who come in who are already molded the right way, but then when they do get success, like him, like especially Daniel Cormier, who I'm another big fan of, because these guys seem like they represent themselves like true men, like true gentlemen, they're family men. So how happy does it make you as a coach to see them continuing that legacy even after success?
Well, it brings a lot of joy when I talk about him because I brag. I brag about Daniel, about how generous he is and how kind of a person, how much he takes care of the team, and I brag about Habib. Yeah, I'm proud. I mean, what does a proud father do, right? Or a proud coach or proud trainer? They brag about their star pupils. So yes, I brag about Habib. I brag about DC. I brag about Kane. I brag about Luke Rockhold. And up and coming people. We always. You're always in that position where you feel proud of what you accomplished, because if you don't feel proud of what you accomplished, then keep trying then, because you have to feel good about what you're doing, and you have to attain some form of comfort in something. Otherwise, why do you do it?
I'm happy you brought up Luke Rockhold, because I was listening to an interview you did earlier with, I believe it's the guys out of AKA Thailand. And
yeah,
you were mentioning how the thing that impressed me was, it seems like you consider a lot of these guys like your family. And Luke Rockhold, because he has a better situation, he trains from time to time at another gym. But you were basically saying how that does not offend you, and you're happy for him because it's easier for him. But your door is always kind of open. But my question is, so can you elaborate on that?
Well, it's like the way I look at it is that we can't be so selfish to think that everybody has a better scenario in your gym and you can provide all the best qualities for them, because that fighter may not particularly feel that at that particular time. So why are you forcing your system on them? You don't have a right to force yourself on anybody, and you have a right to voice your opinion, but to force yourself on them and then to turn your back on them because they decided something else is better suited for them, that's wrong, and who am I to get mad at Luke for anything he's done? He's been straight up about everything from the get-go. He never did nothing behind my back or Crazy Bob's back. He told us straight up what he was going to do, and why wouldn't we respect that? Anybody should, by all means, respect that and never get upset if a fighter goes somewhere else. If you're family, you're family. If your acquaintances, then not really met much there, then okay, then do what you want. But I have a tendency to want to be closer to my guys than distant.
So can you elaborate on one thing? So you said Luke was straight up about it. So, and one of the things in leadership philosophy and in leadership training is they always talk about the importance of transparent communication and being very direct with your speech. And that's something that I talk about a lot on my podcast. So in AKA, in the gym with the guys, how would you describe the communication? How would you describe the ability for individuals to express how they feel? Do people feel free to express themselves?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I speak that all the time, that everybody has a voice, everybody's opinion counts. And I just recently I made a speech on Monday, and my speech hurt one of the fighters. He misunderstood, so he contacted me right away. You know how you said this, and then I, basically said I went and did the opposite, and I hurt his feelings, et cetera, and obviously I fixed it, and he was not correct in what I was saying. But the fact that if he would have held it in and never said nothing to me, he could have left the gym, infected his thoughts on other fighters, on their opinions, and rather than do that, he came directly to me. And we ironed it out quick. It's done, and that's what it's about. We're never going to be perfect, but if we don't try to resolve solutions in situations, if we don't try to resolve situations, there's no solutions. So you always, I made mistakes where I wasn't looking to resolve things. I was creating more, and I've always strive to better myself as a person and a coach, and and I'm always learning. I'm always going to make mistakes, but hopefully I make less and less as time goes on.
You mentioned something again, which is pretty amazing, Coach. I did a series called The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team, and we cover the why teams become dysfunctional. And one reason is lack of trust. And when there's a lack of trust, there's a fear of conflict. And you basically just gave an example of how your fighter was able to tell you how he felt, I'm assuming because he trusts you. So I'm not going to take much of your time because I know your time is valuable. But what do you say to the youth out there, to the young people who are looking for something to kind of discipline them, who are looking for something to get into? What outlet do you think joining a gym like AKA can offer them?
Well, I mean, it's all up to the individual. You know, AK can offer you what you want. You know, if you want to be a bad person, you want to learn to fight, and you'll get that here. But is that the right way to be? No. If you want to be, you know, a good person and learn to protect yourself, you get that here too. So each individual has a choice on what they want to be. You want to be good or bad, but we don't preach bad. You know, you preach good. I mean, obviously, nothing makes sense to be bad. You know, so everybody knows what good is and what bad is. Everybody knows what right is and what wrong is. You know, and if you make the right choices all the time, then there's nothing but positive feedback the majority of the time.
And you said something on our phone call the other day, and you also said something in the interview that I listened to today that, you know, you don't hold on to personal grudges. You don't. It seems like you're a person who doesn't look for the bad in people, and even in referencing, you know, the incident that happened between Khabib and Conor, which we won't go into, but something that struck me that you said was, you know, you don't think Conor is a bad guy. And then when you were interviewed by AKA Thailand, you were basically telling them a story of how you kind of got into it once with someone in the fight game, and then some months down the line, that person actually saved your back, saved your skin by basically giving you a shirt for a sponsor or something. So what about holding on to grudges? What, like, to the people who listen, a lot of people hold on to grudges. People hold on to a lot of hatred in their heart. What do you say about that?
Well, what I say is try to get them out from living rent free in your head, because we all struggle with that. I've struggled with it myself, and the best relief is when you can get somebody out of your mind. You know, they're basically occupying your mind for free. You know, and you're not getting nothing out of it but anger. You know, and so if you got something like that where you got grudges with somebody, try to get them out of your head. In other words, look at it like you know, someone's in your head rent free. You know, get them out. You know, you don't need that. The stress of that, it's not good. I know personally, because, you know, it happens to me too, and I work on you know, eliminating the negativity. You know, and it's tough at times, but if you go through the process, eventually, you know, be positive. Eventually, the negative will go out. You know, we all have them. We all have them. It's just a matter of what we choose to do. You choose to fester them, or you first to eliminate them. You know, and my thing is, you know, I look to eliminate them. You know, and at times it festers for a while before you finally get a grip on it and you get to, you know, eliminate them. So, but my objective goal is always to eliminate the negativity. You know, eliminate the jealousy, eliminate all of that. And it's not easy, but if you don't try, you'll never know if you can succeed.
Coach, I promised a certain time limit, so thank you. I want to thank you and thank AKA, thank your family for helping set this up. And just, you know, personally, thank you for being a role model, being a good leader. Sometimes as young people, you know, we have a lot of negative role models to look up to, but from reading about you and listening to your interviews, it seems like, you know, you're a family person, you run your gym the right way, you've had success on and off the mat. So thank you for inspiring a new generation of fighters to live the right way on and off the mat. And we hope to have you back on the show again.
Thanks for having me. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Coach.
Okay. Bye-bye.